Hey, I'm Gretchen Rubin coming to you live from my apartment in New York City, and I'm going to be joined in a second by my sister, Elizabeth Kraft, who's also the co-host of the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast. While we're waiting for her to join, tell us, where are you watching from? We love seeing that. And also, here's a question for you. Give us a thumbs up if you're starting to feel like this whole thing is starting to feel kind of normal. Like it's starting to feel like, okay, this is how things are now. Kind of the adrenaline has died down. And things are starting to seem kind of weirdly normal. I'm definitely have a thumbs. Elizabeth and I were talking about that earlier, and I'm definitely giving a thumbs up because it feels that way for me. It's fun to see everybody's joining. Where did that go? Elizabeth, I don't see her yet. So again, tell us where you are in the world. I'm in New York City, and tell us where. Whether you're starting to feel like this is all beginning to feel weirdly normal. I'm waiting for Elizabeth to join. The internet is great when it works, and she's been having a little bit of issues on her side, so we will see. And there goes my phone, because this is just this kind of... Somebody said to me, everything is scrappy now. That's the word she keeps hearing from her bosses, is like, we're going to do it scrappy. And I'm like, oh, I think I can do scrappy. Scrappy comes very naturally to me. And I'm waiting for Elizabeth to join. And she's still not there. So again, the question is, where are you in the world? Can you hear my phone ringing? And is this starting to seem normal to you? Winnipeg, Colorado. Somebody says, I don't want to go back to working at work. Well, I think a lot of people, thumbs up if you feel like you are now going to work differently, even once the world goes back to normal. Austin, Texas. I love Austin. Buffalo, New York. Oh, my husband, I have never been to Buffalo. My husband loves Buffalo. Holland, India, Florida. This is so fun. It's normal in a bad way. Oh, that's interesting. So it's normal, but it's not normal like comfortable and familiar. It's normal like, oh, this is uncomfortable. I'd be very curious to hear if people feel like it's feeling easier or harder. Okay, I'm just waiting for Elizabeth. I'll be patient with her. Canada, Orlando, San Diego. Oh, a lot of people watching from, Waterloo says, it's starting to feel so normal now. Yeah, it is starting to feel normal. Someone says, near Boston, I've always been a bit of a homebody, but I need a break from my kids. Yeah, still not normal to have them home all the time. Well, that's one thing that's very true for me too. It's like, it's great to have them around, but I'm sort of surprised that they're around as much as they are. And especially not so much my children as much as my husband. Maybe that's because my husband also has this thing where he's on the phone all the time. I feel sorry for him because I think it's very exhausting to be on the phone or Zoom all the time. But he likes to have it on speaker so we can hear both sides. And I think as one does, okay, give me a thumbs up if you do this. If when you're on Zoom or conference call or whatever, you speak more loudly than you normally would. And so everybody's like, oh my gosh, why are you talking so loudly? So that's kind of a thing, having him around. Now, where is Elizabeth? This is very curious. I know she's doing this because we talked about it just a little bit ago. So I suspect she's having internet problems. So I'm going to give her a few more minutes. And in the meantime, what I'm going to say is thank you, everyone who voted for us. Yes, as we announced, we are up for a Webby Award for the People's Voice Award. So there's the Webby Award, which is for excellence on the internet in all different categories. And then there's the Webby People's Voice Award. And that is one that's determined by online voting. And so we asked people to vote. And so many people voted. We can see what our percentages are, which I think is a little bit mean. But of course, once you know that you can look, Elizabeth and I keep checking. And so we know that a lot of people have voted. And so I really wanted to say thank you. And Elizabeth wants to say thank you too. Huge gold star. That was our challenge for the weekend. If you would still like to vote, we would welcome your vote. We would so appreciate your vote. You can just click the link in my profile and that will tell you, just where to go. And it closes the May 7th, which is this Thursday at midnight, like 11:59 Pacific time. So you have a couple days, but not a huge amount of time. And so if you would go ahead and vote, we would so appreciate it because this kind of thing really does matter to us. And we get a huge gold star. Okay, let me see. I'm still looking for Elizabeth. I know she's trying to connect. And there she is. And she's It's easy. It's great when it works, right? That's my motto. That's my aphorism for technology. It's great when it works. And that's just connecting.
Hello.
Hello. Hello. So I was just asking everybody if they felt like this was feeling normal. And people were saying sometimes normal in a good way, sometimes normal not in a good way. Sometimes it's still kind of strange to walk around your house and see the other members of your family there all the time. How about you, Elizabeth?
It's definitely feeling a lot more normal for me. Like, you know, at first, for a lot of weeks, I was sort of wandering around, you know, kind of just distracted constantly.
Yes.
And now I feel much more like I'm just living my life.
Yeah, that's, you put
And
it
yes, it's
perfectly.
different, but it feels normal.
See that you put your finger on it. I feel like I'm just living my life, and my attention isn't as focused on what's different. Maybe it's because things have sort of run their course, and it's like things that have been canceled for a long time, or you know what I mean. It just feels like this is the way things are, which is interesting. Yeah, someone says I'm ready for a new phase of normal. Well, I think that's yes. Someone says not normal but better than before. Yeah, I think that's it's feeling more like a known quantity. People have their little routines. When do they go to the grocery store? What do you do when you go to the grocery store? How do you handle it? You're not reinventing everything every time. Yeah, a lot of people say agree. Someone said, this is like you, Lisa. Somebody says, in the beginning, it felt like a long vacation, but now it just feels weird. You had kind of that feeling, right, at the beginning?
Yeah, definitely. Like I had such a hard time working.
Yeah.
Whereas now it's easier to work because it just feels like, well, I work from home, so I'm working. Again, if you have a kid who's largely self-sufficient, that also makes it easier to work. You know, I think if your kid needs constant attention, you never get to the point where working at home feels normal.
Yeah.
But I definitely feel, you know, like I can concentrate and have a full day.
Yeah. Well, I felt a big change because the way the way the virus hit New York City, both of my children were on spring break, and so they were kind of off school anyway. And then when they went back to school, there was like this delay, so it sort of hit us in two waves because there was like them being home and sort of spring break being canceled, and then there was the wave of okay, now we're back to school virtually, and that was a whole thing, you know, unto itself.
Yeah. Someone said she feels less like she needs to escape home. Like being home all the time feels more normal.
Yeah. And someone else says, I enjoy so much being home. I just miss my friends sometimes. Yeah. Someone says, I hate not being able to look forward to summer. It is one of the best sources of joy for me. Well, we were just talking about this, Elizabeth and I, about the uncertainty and how many people think the uncertainty is like if you had a date and you could just march to a date and like this is what's going to happen on these dates. It's the kind of like we don't know. It's uncertain. Yeah. So give us a thumbs up if you feel like uncertainty. Like the uncertainty bothers my husband way more than it bothers me, which surprises me because I'm such a control freak. He's really, really clearly struggling with the uncertainty much more than I am. It's interesting.
But that might be partially because his life is more different than yours. I mean, you worked largely at home anyway. He did not. So he might be impacting him more.
But I think it's this uncertainty almost about our daughters more than even him, like the two of us. Like he's very worried about like their futures. And I'm like, you know, what will be, will be. So if you're just joining, I'm Gretchen Rubin. This is Elizabeth Kraft. We're the hosts of the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast. We're talking right now about like, does this feel more normal now? I don't think I mean, new normal, I feel like refers to like this we're not at the quote new normal yet, but this feels more normal. And Elizabeth, while we were waiting for you to join, I was giving everybody a big gold star who already voted for us for the Webby Voice, People's Voice.
Thank you. Yes, we are leading in the Webby Award, but we want more votes. We want to secure our win. This is like something we can go for right now. It's like I care about it so much. I'm like, this is something we can like accomplish.
Yes, we can. Yeah, I know. It is funny how like you're just grasping at straws, like anything that you can do, which I think is, you know, we've talked a lot about how outer order contributes to inner calm, and some people are sort of clearing clutter as a way to comfort themselves. And I think, again, it's the same thing. Like, I can't fix the pandemic, but I can clean out my, my plastic food containers, and that feels good. And
someone's
so,
calling it the new abnormal, which is great. That's a phrase.
I love that.
Yeah, I'm gonna steal that. Forget borrow. I'll just steal it. New abnormal. That's great.
Yeah. But I think that a lot of it is just settling into some kind of new routine, even for people like maybe people like rebels who don't want a routine. I mean, you almost can't live your life without some kind of routine, or the people around you being in some kind of routine. And so I think that just sort of having that take shape for a lot of people is probably making it easier to feel kind of located and focused.
And Gretch, someone had a great new acronym, FORO, FORO, fear of running out. Like
I love it.
So
we have FOMO.
We have to write these down.
FOMO. Yes,
I'm making notes.
I've got here. One of my new things about my embrace of color is that I have all these colored felt tip pens, and now I'm using all the colors instead of just this traditional colors. So I'll write that. What is it? Fear of running out. FOMO.
Yeah, and then also the new abnormal, I love.
And the new abnormal.
Well, but it's true. I mean, even though we have toilet paper, whenever it's available, if I'm at a store, I buy a pack. And I think I'll do that now the rest of my life.
No, I mean, you sent me and Mom and Dad a picture. Like, when do you think they're going to send a picture? I'm like, look, I bought toilet paper. It's like, ooh, big news.
Yes, and Clorox wipes.
Okay, can I just say, so we've talked about update. I think we talked about it in like episode 1 or episode 2 of the podcast. It's this idea that you like send these easy updates to our immediate family. And the motto of update is, it's okay to be boring. And I'm just saying, sending a photograph of your toilet paper purchase absolutely qualifies as big news for update. That's all it has to be. So like, I don't even think, I think you said score or something. There wasn't even like a cute caption.
It was my CVS score. Yes. 12 pack of toilet paper and a thing of Clorox wipes. And I will say I got up and went to the CVS at exactly 9:00 a.m. because I knew they were getting their shipment.
But how did you know? How did people know about these shipments?
They get it every Thursday. So
how did you know that?
Well, we asked.
Oh, okay. Okay. So if you've had this feeling of like, oh my gosh, I got to score. Like, I don't know whether it's avocados because they've been around. It's interesting. People are running out of different things in different parts of the country, I think. And like, depending on your grocery store, like somebody was telling us that like in New York City, like in our neighborhood, that they were having trouble finding something. And there were plenty in our neighborhood. I can't even remember what it was, but like we were like, so if you have a score, what is your score? Because I do think it's interesting to see. And we talked on last week's podcast, or maybe 2 weeks ago now, about making lists to make memories. And somebody emailed me and said that she's making a list of things that she's running out of, or like,
oh, interesting. Yeah.
And so I think that FORO is, and one of the things is the new buzzwords.
Yes.
And so FORO and the new abnormal, these are great additions to those lists, because I do think, as we talked about in that episode, it's another kind of unconventional and quick way of keeping a journal, where 5 years from now, all you have to do is be like, oh my gosh, right, I forgot about the whole thing with Clorox wipes, or I forgot about the whole thing about yeast, or, I forgot about the Thursday morning 9 a.m. run. Yes. I mean, that'll be really interesting to you at some point.
So many people are saying yeast and flour, which I've heard, and disinfectant wipes. Can I just do a quick PSA on disinfectant wipes?
Yes.
Grove.co, who are an advertiser, but this is not an ad whatsoever. Yes. I happen to know right now, or at least as of a couple days ago, they had disinfectant wipes. So
okay.
There you go.
Okay. Someone says baking supplies still here in the UK. I think I have to speculate, and I say this as somebody who spends a lot of time thinking about desire to bake bread. I mean, bread is something, I say this as a very low carb person, so I do not eat bread myself, but it is the case that basically every culture, almost every culture, has something that is like bread in their cuisine. And I think that there must be something that is part of this impulse to prepare that gets people to run out and like rate, you know, there's just a certain number of things that people do no matter what, whether there's a hurricane coming or this is coming, like there's things that people do if they can. And I think this must be a natural aspect of preparation, because you know, if everybody were making, you know, it's not like everybody's making chocolate chip cookies, which are delicious. It's not, and you know, it's not like everybody's making, you know, celebrating Taco Tuesday. They're all making bread. And I mean, I see there's a million reasons why bread is appealing. Like it's tactile, it takes time, it's fun to do with other people, it's not as sweet, you know, it's a staple. And yet it just feels, it feels bigger than that to me. It feels like there's something coming from within. So give me a thumbs up if you feel like that too. I don't experience that myself, but somebody said I made focaccia today. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. Someone says I've been making chocolate chip cookies as a comfort food. Yes. Somebody says, Liz, where do you buy Fresca? We cannot find it here in Chicago.
You know,
you were just telling me about Fresca.
We have a market. I told Gretchen this morning, didn't I? We have a market called Gelson's that's I go to, and I got the last 12-pack of Fresca. This weekend I did a big run to the store, and it was just funny to me because I had heard Fresca for some reason was hard to come by, and I did get the last 12 packs. So, you know, I don't know what it is about being at home that's making people want to drink Fresca, but there it is.
Well, I think it's also the FORA, the fear of running out. If you hear that it's missing, then you go buy it, and then you create there creates a lack of supply, even though there's no less supply than there otherwise would have been. It's just that more people are like, oh my gosh, Fresca's on. We can do the same thing with Diet Dr. Pepper. Get Diet Dr. Pepper, you know, and then everybody's like, oh my gosh, can you get Diet Dr. Pepper? But, you know, in terms, sometimes people talk about kind of the silver lining, or what are we learning from now that we will take forward in the future that is good. And I think one of the things that's good is that I think that we will all feel so much gratitude and recognition of kind of the reliability of our supply chain. Because we sort of take it for granted that of course you can go buy vanilla anytime it crosses your mind, but now you realize like really how precious that is, and like how and really that's something that we should never take for granted.
People are saying Fresca is a good mixer, that's why it's popular right now. It makes sense.
Interesting. Somebody says there's a shortage in general of soda. I did not know that. Someone says, as a 50-something, I feel like all the practical life skills we learned, like cooking and home maintenance, are coming in handy now. Yes, that's true.
I never learned any of those. That's the problem. I have no ability to cook or do home maintenance. So thank goodness Adam is good around the house.
It's handy.
Yes.
Yeah, I know. It's like, these are the things we learn about our spouses. Yes. Oh, someone says, I wonder if sales of Happier at Home have gone up. Haha. Oh, because that's my book about how to be happier at home. I don't know. You know, I should check. I can go check. I will check. That's a great question. And Alyssa, I think that's, of all my books, I think that you said that's your favorite book.
I love that book. Yes.
Yeah. So it's all very,
my favorite.
It's a very homey book. It's a very homey book.
Yes.
Someone says, I waited 6 weeks for a CO2 refill of my soda stream. Oh, yes. Yeah, so it must be that people, maybe because people are usually like out of the office and they're buying from restaurants. Again, if you're just joining, I'm Gretchen Rubin. This is Elizabeth Kraft. We are the hosts of the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast. And we are talking about, does everything seem more normal to you now? And also, we are thanking people for voting. Again, you can click the link in my profile if you want to vote for us for our podcast in the health and wellness category under podcasts for the Webby's People's Voice Award, which we are very giving giant gold stars to everybody who did that. It was our challenge for the weekend. And here's our challenge for today. And this is a really fun challenge, I think. So I am obsessed with the sense of smell. And one of the things, and you can ground yourself in your body through the sense of smell and kind of wake up your body as well. And so I think a couple of weeks ago, I said to everybody, go taste ketchup and really appreciate how amazing ketchup is, 4 of the 5 major tastes. So now go into your kitchen or your like arts and crafts room or your garage or wherever you have a lot of smells, your garden, and really take the time to really smell. So you might smell a bottle of vanilla. You might smell a jar of herbs like oregano. You might smell strawberries. One of the things that surprises me is how strawberries really do have a very strong smell. I don't think of them as that. Like blueberries and raspberries don't have such a smell, but strawberries have a very strong, beautiful smell.
Of course,
Really,
oranges have a strong smell.
oranges have a smell. And put in the comments something that you feel like you love to smell, like fresh towels, maybe. A surprise. I seem to remember research that said a surprising number of women like the smell of gasoline, which is, there was sort of a gender difference there. I don't know. I got to look that up again. But what is something that you love to smell? Oh, someone says, I've been appreciating smells much more during quarantine. Oh, that's interesting. I love the smell of tomato plants. If you love the smell of tomato plants, get Christopher Brosius's To See a Flower smell, which is, no. It's A Memory of Kindness. A Memory of Kindness is like the smell of a tomato plant, not a tomato fruit, but like that kind of dusty smell of being in like a tomato plant. Beautiful.
There's so many good smells, like fresh cut grass, line dried sheets,
barbecue, Fresca,
drugstore sunscreen.
Oh yes, I love it. Fresh ground coffee.
That I love the smell of Mrs. Meyer's geranium hand soap. So I'm like, it's on my hands right now. And the funny thing is, Adam likes it too, because he said the other night, he's like, I love your new perfume. And I'm like, oh, that's my geranium hand soap. So apparently I like the smell of geraniums.
But geraniums have kind of a bad smell, I think. Does it really smell like geranium?
Maybe not. I don't know what geranium
Oh, no, I'm thinking of petunia. I'm thinking of petunia. Remember at our grandparents, like in front of their front door, they had that planter? And petunias, I think, give me a thumbs up if you have a kind of a mixed feeling about the way petunias smell. I'm transfixed by the smell of petunias. I always smell them, but I don't love that smell. But I get them confused with geraniums. Lilac and coffee. Question. Is there a great lilac smell out there? I had kind of an olfactory hallucination where I thought I smelled lilac even though there was nothing around me. It just was kind of, sometimes I don't know if I'm the only person who gets these kind of olfactory hallucinations sometimes. And it just made me overwhelmed with the desire to just load myself with true lilac smell. Not kind of like lilac, but like a real lilac smell. Does anybody know of a great source for a true lilac? Because I desperately want it. Someone says, I used to love lilac, but now it's too strong for indoors. Oh, that's lovely. You're lucky. I feel like flowers don't smell as much as they used to, as my beef. Yeah, lilacs are in blooming in my yard.
Real lilacs. You could get a delivery as a treat to yourself.
Yeah.
For Mother's Day.
Well, lilac, love that, and peppermint. My backyard. Oh yeah, that's the smell, right? But you might like break down the different smells. Like there's this smell, and there's the earthy smell, and there's maybe a piney smell, and all this. If you're just joining, I'm Gretchen Rubin. This is Elizabeth Kraft of the Happier with Gretchen Rubin podcast, and now we're talking about giving yourself a little challenge for today, which is to find a handful of smells, interesting smells, and really take a second and smell them and really experience them. I love the smell of vanilla. And here's something funny about vanilla. It's often used as kind of a shorthand for sort of something bland and something kind of indistinguished. And even sometimes like something flavored vanilla, you kind of confuse it with something that's plain. Like a few times, like in Kansas City, where I'm in a different grocery store. A few times I bought plain vanilla yogurt instead of plain yogurt because they sort of seem like, it's the same thing. Yeah. But no, vanilla is a crazy, fascinating, amazing substance. It's one of the few things where we don't seem to have an upper limit. With most things, if you put too much in, it gets bad. You put too much cinnamon in, it starts tasting bitter. Vanilla, it seems like you can put in a lot of vanilla and there's never too much. And they often put vanilla in to round out other tastes. Because
I've been putting vanilla in my yogurt, actually.
There you go. I put vanilla in my yogurt. Yes. Give me a thumbs up if you love vanilla. Because vanilla is like, it's this crazy, I'm studying all the senses, and it's just fun to learn about kind of the secret life of all these ordinary objects. Black pepper used to be insanely precious. Like now I don't look at black pepper the same way. Like I'm so lucky I have
Wow.
black pepper.
Um, Someone says Christmas trees. That is probably my all-time favorite smell.
Oh, I love the smell of Christmas trees. But now people don't have real Christmas trees as much.
Oh, well, we do.
Yeah, you do. Okay, well that's
Although
good.
we got a Christmas tree and didn't decorate it.
Oh, right. Yes.
But it still smelled good.
It still smelled good. Yes. Yes to vanilla and yogurt. Yes, trying that tomorrow. Someone says eucalyptus, so calming. Our mother is allergic to eucalyptus, so we don't really have that smell very much. Interesting. Ginger is one of my favorite smells. Love ginger. Love saffron. Right? Oh my gosh, this is great. Eggnog, yes. Well, then there's the smells that you do associate with a particular time. Well, there's all the smells that you associate with like a particular time, like a holiday season or a season like it's lilac season. And Andy Warhol did a thing where he would pick a perfume for a particular period and he would wear it every day and then he would retire it. So that because he was very obsessed with time and memorializing time. And so this was a way, it was like a time capsule. And so a certain perfume would mean a certain time for him. And we've talked about this, like using a certain scent for like your wedding or your, vacation. You could almost have a COVID-19 smell, like maybe for you, the geranium hand cream or like the smell of the sanitizer. Or I don't know, but my mask has like a particular smell, and it,
Somebody loves the smell of Disneyland. That's great.
Disneyland has, if you listen to the podcast 20,000 Hertz, which I love, for their April Fool's prank, they pretended like they were a podcast about smell. And one of the people that they interviewed was the person who is the smell designer for Disney.
Oh, wow.
And they think about it a lot. Like, what does this ride smell like? Like Pirates of the Caribbean has a particular smell. Or what is it like gliding over California? What's that one?
Oh, yeah. Soaring
over California. Yeah, that has a particular smell. So the smell of Disneyland, they would be very happy to hear you say that because there has been a lot of thought put into what is the smell of Disneyland. Oh, new car smell. That's is something. Good smell. Oh, theater popcorn. That is a great example because that has such a specific smell.
It does.
You only smell it there and it's unmistakable. That is a great one. Oh, Florida jasmine. When I go a place where there's actually jasmine growing just like outdoors, it just blows my mind.
We have it in LA. Yeah, it's amazing. It smells so good.
Gardenia might be my very favorite smell. If I had to pick one. Real leather. Oh yeah. Smell of a real bakery. Yes. Yeah. Basil.
There's so many good smells.
This is beautiful. This is like this is overwhelming me with like, see, just even talking about good smells makes you feel just like excited. Oh, speaking of being excited, Elizabeth, I'm wearing my happiness because bluebird is the symbol of happiness. Elizabeth gave me this for Christmas this year. So I have to say that.
It looks really cute on you, and that's a great color on you.
It's yeah. You chose well. You chose well. Okay, before we go, check in, accountability check in. It's on you. Put it in the comments. What are we holding you accountable for? Walk 20 and 20, night snacking or snack bursts, I should say.
Yes.
Meditation. I talked to Dan Harris. Did that get you inspired to try meditation or get more engaged in meditation? And if there's something that you've been doing, give yourself a gold star in the comments because we want to give you those gold stars. And so, someone says newborn babies. They've actually tried to capture that smell. Interesting. Oh, keep walking. Excellent. Reading. Good. That's a good one. No sugar. Love that one. If you want to read about why I quit sugar, you can read about it in Better Than Before. And I'm getting ready to do this whole quitting sugar project. So cutting down on sugar. So stay tuned for that. Sending birthday cards. That's very nice.
Yeah. I have to like now start. So I think I've halted the gaining of the weight. Now I need to like go down. Now I need to lose weight. That's where I'm at with which is really just eating less because I'm exercising plenty. It's all about what goes in the mouth. So that's my accountability.
And have you been going to bed earlier? Because you said that kind of solved a lot of problems for you.
Sometimes. So I need to make that more of a habit. Maybe that's what it should be.
And maybe that's easier to kind of think
Yeah.
about. It sounds,
Yeah.
going to bed has more,
Going to bed at 11 o'clock, let's
that
say,
sounds has
because
more
that's a
pleasant.
big difference. 11 and 12, very different.
Yes. Someone says I'm on day 94 of my meditation streak. Gold star. That's
Wow.
amazing. Someone says sending a Mother's Day gift. Yes. If you want merch, like go to
Yes.
gretchenrubin.com/shop, and we have tote bags, we have mugs, we have t-shirts for if you know the tendency of the mother in your life, or you want to ask for one for yourself.
Yes.
It's all there at gretchenrubin.com/shop. And if you don't know what your tendency is, I think we mentioned it a few times in passing. As always, you can go to quiz.gretchenrubin.com and take this free quick quiz, and it will tell you, what your tendency is, and then everything in your life will be revealed to you. Just kidding, but it is very interesting to know. Let's see. Swim daily. That's excellent. Eat more vegetables. Less sugar, and an earlier bedtime. Yeah, I think an earlier bedtime. Have you tried that thing, Elizabeth, of setting your alarm to
It's
remind
like
you to go to
I've done
sleep?
it on a day, but I haven't. I should just have it go off every day. Okay, that's
Well,
what I'll do I'll set it for 5 days a week, recurring.
yeah,
At 10:50 or
because
10:45.
you can always ignore it.
Yes, you can.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Someone's asking if we ship to the UK.
Yes, yeah. We don't ship it; it goes through somebody else, so they
Yeah.
will ship it to the UK. Now, given I don't know about the UK, but in the United States, the mail is moving more slowly, and so I'm not
Yes.
100% sure that we can guarantee it by Mother's Day, because that's
Yes,
coming up
probably
very
not.
soon for us.
Yeah.
So I should just say that. So maybe it's a general "I love you, mother" gift, not a Mother's Day gift.
Yes.
Someone says the month of May, no sugar, no bread, my accountability.
Wow.
Okay. Well, Elizabeth, as you talked about last week, you did no alcohol-free April. So
Yes.
maybe let's think of you could think of is there like a catchy
Yes.
rhyming or alliteration for
Yes, for May.
May?
I don't know.
May seems like a lot should rhyme with it. I don't know.
No.
Viewers, think of if you're something. Someone says, "Don't worry, UK Mother's Day is in March." Oh, there you go. That's handy. Somebody says, since I'm in Holland, these talks with you are my bedtime alarm. Oh, that's handy.
Nice.
That's good. Ooh, you could imagine that would be. That's very fun. That's very funny. Manicure May.
Meatless May.
Meatless May. So that's good alliteration. Yeah, I like it. So, no marshmallows May. Oh,
That's funny.
That's interesting. That reveals a lot about you, if that's your thing. But here's something about alliteration and rhyming. There's something called the fluency heuristic, which is that ideas feel more powerful to us if they're somehow memorable, like they rhyme, or they have alliteration, or there's something about them that makes them kind of catchy. And so, like, a stitch in time saves nine, or go fast to go slow, because it's there's kind of this contradiction that makes ideas feel more powerful and more memorable. And so it's kind of I think like alcohol-free April is better than
yeah. Well, I did no alcohol April, because that to me seemed the most, because it was 2 A's. No alcohol April.
No alcohol.
Because it was
April.
AA.
Yeah.
Everybody's saying mindful May. That's a good one. Mindful May.
Mindful May.
Move
Magical
more May.
Staycay May. Okay, yeah.
That's funny.
Hey, it's a staycay.
Nobody's ever going to take a staycation again. That much, I think, or at least I'm not. I've had as much staycation as I need for a lifetime.
Oh, someone has a good one. Move it in May. Yes. If you have not been doing Walk 20 and 20, now join us now. It's always the right time. You can download the Don't Break the Chain is at gretchenrubin.com/resources. And in May, you can, if you walk 20 and 20 for May, by June, you will have walked a lot. Oh, we do Dry July. Oh, that's interesting.
Oh,
where's that? That's interesting. Because I think the UK started Dry January, I think. So I wonder who does Dry July. Interesting. Okay, so we will be back.
Yes.
If you haven't voted, click the link in my profile and vote if you're so inclined. We do appreciate it. And go search out those beautiful smells. I cannot wait. It just makes me happy seeing what people are listing. I can't wait to see what people are smelling when we
Yes.
tune in tomorrow at 4 o'clock. Okay, everyone, let's keep our hands clean and our minds clear. Bye.
Bye.